Well, it's the next day. It's finally warm enough. Like, this is the challenge of this time of year. Because, you know, of it actually being warm enough to do this. To, like, work on the car and do stuff like this. Because it takes until, like, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon for it to reach peak temperatures. But then it's dark at, like, 4:30, 5 o'clock. So you have a very limited window to actually do anything to your cars. But we're going to start this thing up. First time starting it in, like, 2 months. And we're going to see, well, how it is. And unfortunately, the mount for my tripod broke. And I can't find any of my other tripods with the good mounts. So, yeah, it sucks. But anyways, so we're just going to be holding the camera today. The Capri that's slightly buried in snow. Like, this thing is just, it's such a nice car, and I don't really want to actually get rid of it. Because there was that whole thing of me potentially trading for an AMC Eagle, but I don't think that's going to happen. So yeah, and you can see actually my gas can in there. It's a little bit dirty in here. I need to clean it. Okay, why is the rear wiper on? There we go. And no radio. Now let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, 4. So this is one thing that happens when oh, come on. There's not a lot of fuel in it, like you can see. It's running on empty there, so but yeah, now that this thing is running, like, because it's got a good concentration of seafoam in it, so it should actually blow a bunch of white out of the exhaust. It's not that the head gasket's gone or anything like that, but it's just how seafoam is. So we're gonna see how this goes, and once it starts like smoking really good, I'll continue to film it. If it does, it might not. It usually does though, because like I said, I put that full can of seafoam in it last night, as you saw earlier. So let's see. Hi everyone, welcome back to Katarina's Garage. My name is Katarina Lloyd, and today, well, I'm gonna be putting seafoam in the car to try and clean the gas tank. So I'm gonna dump this full bottle in there, and then I'm gonna let it sit overnight, and we'll check on it tomorrow. I'm gonna run the car to, like, basically it runs out of gasoline, then go fill it up with more gas and see if that made a difference. But yeah, so anyways, let's get to this. So this is my 81 Mercury Capri, and if you don't know, this thing has been a very kind of unreliable car. And oh yeah, that's right, I left the gas cap off of it. I've been driving without the gas cap for a long time. The reason for that is because I was testing out a theory of every time it broke down on me, if it was a venting problem, and it was not. So, which I didn't think it was, but it's one of these deals. So hang on, I need to open up this thing. There we go. So now, just grab this, and alright. And now, we're going to wait till tomorrow, and hopefully that does it, because there's debris inside the gas tank that I'm pretty sure is causing the pickup to get clogged, and that is the reason why it keeps breaking down on me. There we go. You can see it's smoking really good, and look what it blew out. All this carbon, right? So seafoam works really well for this. So yeah, that's just gonna continue to smoke a little bit more, but that's okay. It's designed to do that. And then once it stalls out, like once it runs out of fuel, I am going to go to the gas station, get more fuel, put it in there, and put another can of the seafoam in there. And then hopefully this will be a good car after that. Well, I'll also have to replace the carburetor, but I want to do that today, but I don't think I'm going to. But But yeah, just see how much it's smoking like that? Because again, seafoam, that's what it does. So, yeah. That'll take a bit to, you know, all sort of burn off like that. But that's one of these things with these, with seafoam like that. And now there is like, sometimes it can cause issues running seafoam, but like, seafoam in newer cars doesn't work as well as older cars. It's one of these things. And actually, you know what's funny? Car's actually frozen into the ground. That's hilarious. Again, I haven't driven this thing for a while, so yeah, no. This is my 81 Capri. I like the car. It does need quite a bit of, you know, like rust repair and stuff. Like you can see on the rear quarter here. You can see on the door there that's all dented in, and on the rear quarter panel here. You can see some of the rust that's forming up here on the roof. You know, and it's just like nothing structural, but enough rust to be a bit of a concern on this car. And like there's some rust coming actually right here, which I do want to grind that down and just coat it. And then like even up here, again, grind it down, coat it, and figure out how to seal that in without just completely cutting it away and welding it. But you can see this rear quarter, you know, it's rusty too. And now surprising, so that all came through, it blew out all the carbon, and it's actually running pretty okay. Like I haven't heard it run like this in a long time. Because notice, like, okay, it is missing, like you can hear it occasionally, but it would normally miss every single time. So that seafoam actually did the trick, I think. Maybe. I cannot confirm whether or not that actually worked properly, but it's running really, really good. Like I said, I'm just gonna let it completely go through its cycle, and we will see how it goes. All right, so now you can hear it a lot more. Hear all that popping? And like, and you can smell a bunch of fuel coming out of this thing too. So I know this thing runs super rich. It's the reason why, like, it overfuels bad. There's a reason why I have that other carburetor that's in the back of the car there that's gonna go in here relatively soon. I just gotta find a day where it's nice and warm so I can actually grab the tools so I can do it, because it's gonna take me a while to replace the carburetor just because of the stupid bracket system. It takes a while to do it. But I'm gonna modify that bracket that's underneath the hood, because I can show you actually while we're waiting for this thing to... And here, let's kick it down actually. Ooh, it's nice and warm in here. There we go. Finally kicked out. It took a minute. But yeah, no, it's just it's a good car overall, but it has its problems. So, and that's why, like, this thing is affectionately called the Poltermerc, because of just how unexplainable some of these problems have been with this car. And it's almost out of fuel. I've got a little small jerry can. It doesn't have a lot in it, but it'll, once it runs out, I'll put that in it, and then that should get me to at least put like about 20 bucks into it at a gas station. So yeah, that's where we're at. Now this is a surprise. This thing's been running for about a half an hour, and it's still not out of fuel yet, with like nothing on the gauge. Like, you guys saw the gauge at the beginning. Like, now don't get me wrong, these gauges will fall completely down, but this thing usually doesn't have much left in it when it's this low. Like, see? Now it will actually go all the way like over here approximately on these gauges, but yeah, it's just I'm awfully surprised. And now, if you're wondering, no, this thing doesn't get like a very good fuel economy because I can't reset the gauge cluster. So, but who knows, I might be able to get that functional at some point. But yeah, it's just, I'm surprised it hasn't run out of fuel yet, and it actually cooled down a bit. It was running a lot hotter before, so that's good to see too. All right, so I'm still waiting for this thing to die, but like run out of fuel. But so far, it's been pretty good. I'm just taking it around the block because it'll run out of fuel the more I like stop and go and just keep driving it around, right? So that's kind of the plan here. And I've got my jerry can in the back, and I'm just going to just keep going up and down, up and down, up and down until finally it runs out of fuel. So that's where I'm at. And then hopefully, okay, I don't even need the heat on. I don't even need my coat on. It's warm out. Like, this car's a lot warmer inside than my Mustang is. So yeah, and then, you know, and you can see just out the windshield there, and oh, I'm just taking it casually. I'm just waiting for it to die because it's there, like it's right there. I want it to run out of fuel so that I can put that other one in, that some more gas in it, and then put some more seafoam in it, and then oh, for a second I thought it just died. Oh, it's not coughing yet, which is surprising. That's the thing, like, and all I'm trying to do here is actually clean the debris out of the gas tank. So I'm just going to pull a U-ey right here. Pull a U-ey. Now the one thing is, like, this thing desperately needs a limited slip diff because, you know, it going the way it is, like I had to kind of rock it to get it out of where it was parked because only one wheel peeling, and you know, that's the struggle. But with the limited slip diff, I wouldn't have to worry about that. So that'll be one of the next things. And I'm amazed that this thing hasn't run out of fuel yet. Like, genuinely, this is surprising because it should have by now, easily should have by now, but it's still going. And like, this car, it should be a good car. It's just, you know, the debris in the tank has made it not as good. Whoa. It's kind of hard to go two abreast going down the alley here, but you can. It's just a little more difficult. Whee! But yeah, so I'll keep you updated on when this thing finally runs out of gas. Well, it didn't run out of fuel, which I expected it to, but it just kept going and going and going and going and going. So, well, now the big test is gonna come, because I'm not putting like a ton of fuel in this thing. Like, I'm putting 40 bucks worth of fuel, which you can, you know, it's at, it's gonna be just over like 30, it'll be like 34 liters or so, maybe 32 actually. Yeah, closer to 32. But, you know, that's just where we're at. Alright, so that gave me half a tank of fuel, and now I'm gonna drive it around until I feel it do something bad. So, this might take a while. But, yeah, fun times. Well, that didn't work. Car just broke down. So, fun times, fun times. I gotta push this into a parking spot, so this is gonna be fun. So, okay, now that it's broken down, like, watch what happens here. So, I try and start it. It'll start, but then just immediately die. Now, if I try to give it any gas while I'm doing this, and just nothing. Like, just nothing. So, yeah, I gotta let it settle and then drive this thing back home. Son of a bitch.